Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are P-Device, and today we are here to offer you the global solution for Parkinson's. Today, there are more than 20 million people around the world. It can be any one of us here that suffer or have the risk of Parkinson's disease. It is the neurodegenerative disease, and it causes you several kinds of tremors. So when you start to think that you might have the disease Parkinson's, what you do is that you go to see your primary caregivers. But then very few cases would be direct to the neurologist or specialist on the first time. And that is where the problem is. When the doctor finally tells you you have Parkinson's, it is too late. Too late meaning that more than 50% of dopamine, the cells in your brain, is already destroyed. And when it is that stage, the only medication you take is levodopa. But this medication, it has the side effect of dyskinesia. So dyskinesia is a wild, is uncontrollable movement. So after you're taking this medication for too long, it develops. But then there are other kind of medication, better medication with no side effects. But they are only available if you detect the Parkinson early. So there are actually evidence and support saying that early detection is actually useful and very beneficial to patients. First, it can slow down the disease progression throughout your lifetime. It saves a lot of money, but most definitely, it means better quality of life of you and your family, your loved ones. But ladies and gentlemen, there is no such available tool at this moment to detect Parkinson at the early stage. So what primary caregiver needs today, now, is something that is accurate, fast, simple, and cheap enough that is affordable by everyone.
Well, we would like to introduce you PDEX, a novel, non-invasive diagnosis technology for Parkinson's disease. Now, 100% accuracy rate for the diagnosis could be achieved, and early stage Parkinson's disease could be detected through our core technology, temporal fluctuation algorithms. Importantly, the algorithm was filed patented in November 2015. Last year, over 300 patients were tested with PDEX. Still, it maintained accuracy rate at 100%. Apart from being the best diagnosis device for the Parkinson's disease, PDEX could be performed by primary caregivers and could be done within 5 minutes or less. Marine Ann, yesterday we tested at the exhibition, right? Less than 5 minutes, it could be achievable. Okay, let's look at how simple to use the PDEX. First, 2 minutes, we will give the instruction and preparation to the patients. Next, we will ask the patient to perform the tremor assessment, resting, kinetics, and the postural. Then, next 2 minutes, primary caregivers will receive the result whether the patient has the Parkinson or not. Compared to available tools in the market right now, PDEX could be achieved the highest accuracy rate at 100%, and it could detect early stage Parkinson with 5 minute diagnosis time and only $1,000 per machine, and more importantly, it's non-invasive technology for the Parkinson diagnosis, and it's safer.
Hospitals are our buyers, but the user actually are the primary caregivers. With only $1,000 to the hospital, you get the PDEX basic kit. And at this price point, it will take only 100 patients for the hospital to break even. And we have the 3 recurring revenue programs, which are, first, the annual subscriptions. Second is the upgrade for the PDEX Pro. And in the future, we'll have additional diagnosis module. There's a huge market opportunity around the world. Our primary markets will target on these 5 countries with a total market of 938 million with 7.5% CAGR. Our first point of entry is Thailand. As a medical hub of Asia, we have a strong network with the key influencer, the Chulalongkorn Center of Excellence for Parkinson's Disease. Our inventor and co-founder, Dr. Ajahn Rungroj Pitayasiri, he's a world-renowned neurologist that specializes in Parkinson's disease. He has a high credential in Asia, Europe, and America. He has more than 60 medical published journal articles. And with our greatest honor, in 2015, Her Royal Highness Princess of Thailand has support the Thai medical industry, including our device. It has been published in international journals and received positive feedback from the key leading opinions. Simple, effective, and huge potential. 50 doctors now is using PDEX. We have already connected with the 21 medical schools and 6 private hospitals through our personal and professional network. This year, we are going to participate in 4 medical exhibitions and utilize the use of social media to create brand awareness and educate the people about the benefit of early detection of Parkinson's disease. We'll work closely with the distributor, the KSH for Asia, and the Durham for European country and America.
Moving to the operations, P-Device will focus on key contribution to the business, R&D, and marketing. We will outsource supplies and distribution to the expert in the industry. With these lean operations, we could achieve the gross margin at 70%. We have the capable, dynamic teams. Our executive management has the background.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
If I understand that there's both a hardware component to this and also an analytic software component, is that correct?
Correct, is that the package?
So this device senses tremors or movements, and then the software runs some form of analysis in order to determine whether that's Parkinson's or some other type of tremor-related illness.
Right.
Correct. So the secret behind the software, or so-called our secret of the inventor, is the algorithm. So basically, in the algorithm, we have
the tremor fluctuation algorithm and fluctuation ratio algorithm behind the analysis program.
And so just a few questions around that. The intellectual property and the patents you're talking about, do those surround the hardware device or that algorithm itself or both?
The patent is protect the algorithm itself.
Okay.
Can you say that again?
The patent is protect the algorithm itself.
And in performing that type of diagnostics, which you're actually doing, what is the regulatory environment around that? Do you need some sort of approval to be diagnosing Parkinson's disease?
So for the FDA in the United States, because once you apply and be approved by the FDA of the United States, you can apply simply everywhere and be approved. So our device is classified as Class 1 medical device. It is Class 1 because it is safe, it is non-invasive, and it is not a treatment device.
For the US FDA in the Class 1, it requires only the published journal to support the regulations in terms of application.
Have you applied to the FDA in the US? Is that what you're doing?
It's on the progress.
So you're going to the US first?
Yes.
The point of entry would be in Thailand.
But for how it's working.
Wait a minute, you said it's in progress. What do you mean by in progress? What does in progress mean?
Okay, we have to apply the US FDA. They require the contract manufacturer.
Yeah, I understand the procedure, but where are you in the process?
We are in the consulting of prepare the document for the apply of US FDA from the local agent in Thailand.
So we have already been in talk and established we are in process of completing this contract with the manufacturers. And then with the expertise of our manufacturer in Thailand, then we work together to go pursue the FDA.
So how long do you expect it to be that you would get FDA approval?
Okay, from the US FDA regulatory, it's required only 1 month for the Class 1, but we bound the timeline for 6 months.
And have you already got the Thai FDA approval?
We are not get the Thai FDA approval currently, but we are working on the progress because the document required for the Thai FDA approval is quite similar to US FDA requirements.
And the time process would be almost similar. But we prioritize our process into the FDA of
So-
the
so
United States.
You're giving an impression like it's just a month away. Is that the case? We're like right here, just about a month away from this?
In fact, we are ready to commercialize within, we project it to be in 2018 from our timeline, but with the initial investment, we can pursue it within this year.
And is there separate regulation required or approval required for the hardware and the software? Is this class 1? Is the diagnostic algorithm class 1? Is it all one system that gets approved?
Okay, from our research on the class 1, who apply for the US FDA, it take US FDA to interpret our technology again. But this class 1 is based on our research, is cover both of the hardware and the software as the class 1.
In the FDA document, do you have to declare the accuracy level of the detection?
We will be putting the accuracy rate. Currently, it is at
Yeah, I
one.
don't think it's a matter of you putting the accuracy rate. I think that's a requirement, isn't it?
It is.
This is the requirement.
And what will be the number that you're putting in?
At this moment, we will go for 100% accuracy rate, backed up by statistical and clinical trials over the course of 5 years at the Parkinson Chulalongkorn Center.
We have our research to back up what we found, and we claim at 100%.
Why do you need so much money? I mean, it seems like it's not like it's an extended 3-year, 5-year because it's a class 1 device. And it's not a complicated device. It could be made pretty easily. If I was willing to put in, let's say, 1 million rather than, I think it's 6 million you're asking for, correct?
Yes.
Can you do
1
it with
million.
1 million?
Yes, 1 million.
Okay, 1.1. Okay, sorry, I looked at the wrong number. So 1.1 million is all it needs. Where is that money going towards?
Okay, for the first part of this money, it will go to license the fee from the Chulalongkorn University. That is the one of the biggest part. Then the next thing to
You don't already have an agreement with them? You have not negotiated a price on the licensing yet?
we have
Already. So this percent, 18%, is already expressed.
But
And that you have to pay up front?
we have to pay upfront to the university.
And can you negotiate with them to pay as you sell?
I think
That
this
is possible as well.
That is
but
very interesting idea that we will take into the considerations to have better negotiation with them.
we would like that throughout the course of the sales as well. So
You need somebody to negotiate with Chulalongkorn.
Please, could you please refer him to us? We will be very glad to meet him and have a discussion.
that would make it much
Much
faster for
yeah.
us to go to the market.
Is
Some
there a
connections.
chance that your algorithm is somehow more accurate with the Thai kind of nation?
Okay,
or maybe
let's-
people within this.
Let us look at the table of the demographic of our data point, how we collect the data point. The nationality is not the measurement or the criteria for the.
While you're setting that up, I just want to revisit a question one of my fellow judges asked. Are you confident that you only need a single approval, one approval will cover both the hardware and the analytical software?
Based on our research and our consultants, now we need from ourselves, from our company, we need those US FDA is only one that we need. But from US FDA, it requires US QRS and ISO 13485. That is, we have to work with our contract manufacturer to achieve those standards.
And a question about the European Union. What you mentioned that once you have the FDA from the States, that's enough to open all the doors. I beg to differ. I think they have their very own system and they wouldn't care whether it has FDA approval from the States.
So if we look at our sales timeline, actually we will start from Thailand and the United States and then Japan first. Germany is our last target market. I mean, in terms of the timeline, because we already expect that
It is
we,
5 years
yes.
timeline for entering the Germans.
And to answer the demographic question, whether the sample size is enough, so the demographic of the sample size includes the
Sorry, because I'm allowed to interrupt. Why Germany? it is a European Union. Why would you single out Germany? That makes absolutely no sense unless you have very strong contacts, you all speak fluent German, but then you would involve Austria and other German-speaking countries. Why Germany?
First, we are very impressed with the technology and the advancement of medical industry in Germany. Second, if we look in the perspective of economic and stability, we think Germany could be the place with most strong stability.
In the 5 year in terms of the Germany or is would be other country to replace the German, it depends on the timeline because it's the next 5 year. We would choose the best European country to enter on that time period.
But you, in terms of what you're trying to achieve, it's a European Union, right?
That
it's
was
not Germany. And why would you think that Germany would be more developed than the countries around her?
You need to drop
Where
that
would
part
that come
from this
from?
presentation. That does
Where
not
would that
serve
come
you
from?
well.
It makes no sense. It's like going into 3 or 4 different American states only.
And
So we judge by the amount of medical spending per year. So Germany comes in first in terms of medical spending.
Can we go to the page, extremely high growth potential, where you show geographical and product expansion? Because I think I just found the problem with this story.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are looking forward to that.
Okay, so I noticed that the first 3 years you showed geographical expansion, correct? By the third year, you've penetrated the main markets, right? But then you're showing that you have product expansion.
Correct.
Different products, new products,
We have several in our pipeline.
on this same algorithm, this same
Yes,
thing?
as
Okay.
the fundamental algorithm to
Okay.
introduce.
So go
our
back to
product.
that slide. If you add up the profits of this that you're showing, let's use your EBITDA, the red bar. 47 million of that comes in year 2021, 2022, and 2023. But in years 1, 2, and 3, let's say 18, 19, 20, it's only 3 million. And by that time, you've penetrated all the markets. I don't understand why.
Okay, let's look at the market adoption ratios. To penetrate in that market, we do not just the one move to penetrate in that market. Our strategy is to go to the academic hospital first to give you the
So go
big
back to that chart.
influencers.
Go back to that chart. So what that would mean, if you're saying that, then the year 2023, let's take 2023, that red bar, is it only a tiny amount that's coming from new product, or is a lot of that coming from new product?
This is not include the new products.
So this is only this product?
This product.
So when you're talking about product expansion, you're not including anything but this product in that section?
The only product that we include in is the B2C product. That is the monitoring that we use the similar platform.
And what percent of that red bar in the last year is that?
Okay, let's look at the ratio analysis.
It just seems very
Okay.
odd that you're penetrating these markets in their third year, as you show in those flags, but yet your revenue is so tiny. Are you meaning you're just starting in those markets? I just don't understand that.
Okay, let me show you here. Okay, let's look at the financial ratios in terms of the revenue. We have revenue from the two stream. We have revenue from the two stream. The first one is from the hospital stream, and the second one is indirectly from the hospital stream. The revenue from the indirect from the hospital stream is the second product line, adoptions. If you see the rate, we try to do the hospital based on the first year we doing the hospital directly B2C, 18, 19, and 20, and then we introduce our new product into our revenue on the 2021.
New product in that? I can't see the data. What is the percent of the new product in the last year of the revenue?
Okay, for the product, you have to
It is up to 80%.
From the new product?
from the new product.
So this is where you're asking me that when I look at that chart right here, you're asking me to invest, ultimately, the profits here seem like they're coming from a new product. But I like your product, and what I can see is that your product doesn't seem to generate any profit.
Okay, let me tell you that this product is the diagnosis product. This product, it has the one function in diagnosis first, but it has more competency in terms of monitoring the disease.
So
And
it's a low profit
it's a-
start? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
The first 3 years, this is just a low profit, a way to enter the market. So maybe I should wait to invest until you've got a high profit one.
No, actually, even though the numbers show that, but it's not necessary that we do that in year 5. We can already establish that in year 3 because the R&D for that product is already done. So what we need for the second line of product is only
What
the
I'm
market.
saying is that the NPV that you're calculating is almost all the value is coming from some product that you haven't even showed me. So could you tell me what that product is?
Okay.
Or am I wrong?
No, it's the same product, but it's adding the functions of the monitoring. It's just the same product with the same software.
So you actually had me convinced of your product. Now you need to convince me of the revenue generating possibility for this add-on feature. Please do that quickly because you're going to run out of time.
Okay, for that product, we do not need another. We use the similar in terms of the hardware algorithm. There's no need to change in anything, and that is the same product. So we can sell those products to the end customer, and we reduce the sum function in the algorithm out. That's all. That's a new product.
How many other pipelines do you have how many other products do you have in the pipeline?
Maximum at the moment is 4 to 5.
Can
What your revenue stream be like if the B2C never happened? Let's say you have to stick with the hospital.
Okay, from
market
this
only.
analysis, we use the very conservative in terms of revenue stream. We can add up more in terms of the recurring revenue stream to help enhance our profitability.
My question is, let's say you fail to engage into a B2C market and your only viable business is in the hospital market only. How would your company be like in terms of financial performance?
That is why we adopt the SaaS recurring revenue stream. So basically, hospital, let's say you just buy one machine and one software, but then how many devices would you be needing if to satisfy all the primary cares? But then, because it is the software, it always needs to be updated. And also the extreme and better versions coming out years to years. So that is where our recurring models come out. You cannot just stick with one software, one algorithm all the way along. This is developed.
And the revenue stream gonna be like a duplications of the revenue stream of the previous year because you have to renew the software and you have maybe have a chance to increase that profitability to upgrade the software.
Can we jump to the slide where you enter the market via professional distributors?
Of course.
I just want to see how solid this information is. So Durban is a professional distributor. Have you negotiated with them? Do you have a sort of MOU or something in place?
Initially, we are working with DKSH and already established with BIS.
I'm just looking for how firm this is because I'm still a little confused. America is roughly 4 times bigger than Germany. If you take the primary care givers you have there, America would have 240,000 primary caregivers. They don't. They would have 12,000 hospitals, according to yours, rough sort of calculation. Are you sure that's what you're showing there?
Yes, it is.
So they simply have many, many more hospitals per capita in Germany than in America?
Yes, it is. From
Okay,
the
3
statistics.
times as many.
Yes, exactly.
And primary caregivers.
Exactly.
I doubt that. That simply cannot be true. The next thing is, so Durban, you have chosen them because they are strong where?
Pricing strategy is dangerous.
Okay.
And the value is coming from that pricing strategy.
Okay, from the pricing strategy, the pricing that they pay for it not actually they pay for the hardware device because the device is quite similar to all over the digital watch throughout the world, but they pay for the software and the algorithm to detect whether you have the Parkinson or not.
Let's talk about that just for a second because I had a question about that. The $1,000 annual licensing fee, that's based on what? Per device?
Okay.
Because if it's per device, then as a hospital, I want to buy as few of these as possible and use them on as many patients as, as many patients as possible. Whereas if it's per tests, then it doesn't matter how many devices I have. So how do they, what's the...
Okay, how is the software work? The software is working in terms of we have the one account at the beginning, but if the hospital would like to extend the account to other device, other PDEX, they could be pay more a little bit, and we have the bundle package for them if they want to use a multiple account.
And has that been taken account in the financial forecast?
That is not taken into the account in financial forecast because we would like to be conservative on that one. Is quite flexible in terms of contact to the hospital.
I have one other question. Could you bring up the financial projection slides?
Can I add on something on the financials? So basically, our numbers, as you mentioned, might seem low, but as Robert mentioned, this is the conservative, almost the worst case possible. So if we add on the recurring revenue into this 5 years projection, it would be much
we have additions
higher.
on the bundle package to the hospitals.
It will be much, much higher of revenue. That means with asking from you 1 million today, you are actually getting a good value of us if the projection here is undervalued.
But how have you run the projections? Based on one licensing fee of $1,000 per unit sold?
Yes, right. For this,
But what I've said is actually, what you've then just said to me is if they buy a second unit, you won't get $1,000 for it. So your projections must be overstated at the moment rather than understated.
okay, in terms of that, our projection is based on the market penetrations to the number of the hospital. On that one, if the hospital need more, it's on top of the market penetrations.
So your projections at the moment show only $1,000 per hospital, regardless of how many units they're buying.
Right.
Okay. The other question I had was, I noticed that through the course of this business, even though I think I read that your philosophy is a sort of lean business, using third parties wherever you can, you've got a very consistent 28% fixed cost in SG&A all the way through your business. I wouldn't have expected you to have to linearly scale your central costs in order to ramp up your distribution.
That is very interesting because this is the gap to do the cost saving project throughout the 5 years. If we could reduce those costs, I buy it in terms of the conservative financial model, and we try to reduce those costs, but we don't want to see any unexpected event throughout our business. We would like to be very ready on any situation, so I borrow that money for that purpose.
Okay.
Since your pricing is, since your service is going to be SaaS, had you considered a pay-per-use kind of business model? Like instead of, now hospitals seem to be getting all the good monies and you are getting just nothing almost. What about, revenue sharing with the hospital? Have you ever considered that, or have you ever in discussion with hospital on this?
I think that is very interesting idea
It
that
is.
we would like to negotiate with the hospital. Thank you so much. I would do it immediately after these competitions. We will go to that direction as well.
And on that note, I'd like to stop you there. We've run out of time. Thank you very much, P Device from Sasin, Thailand. Up next is Y-Box from Cambridge.